flowers, they get sick and die. And sometimes they can even turn, and even it's made to kill weeds, but it also kills animals, like bees, for instance. Don't.
Hold on 1 second. So what's your name?
My name's Nova.
Yeah? And you discovered some things about GMO?
Yeah, well, they kill bees and they kill other animals. They kill tons of different things that eat nectar from bees, that eat nectar, eat plants.
Yeah.
It can make like big animals like deer very sick.
So what do you?
Sometimes the deer can die.
Yeah. So what do you think GMOs are?
GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and they have this little needle gun that shoots little strands of DNA into different strands of DNA to make it like salmon, for instance. They shoot a tomato DNA strand into a salmon DNA strand to make it more red.
Yeah.
And
to make the salmon more red.
Yeah, to make the salmon more red.
And it doesn't really. So what's the result? How you see it is what you earlier you said that GMOs kill bees, but what else do they do? What do they do to people?
They can make people sick, just like Chris Hardy. Chris Hardy got sick from fighting Monsanto. He was the one that confiscated GMOs from this part of, from growing it here in Jackson County. So he can't. So Monsanto's company can't grow any GMOs in Jackson County anymore. So I kind of want to help out Chris Hardy to stop GMOs, and I'm kind of one of his little speakers, and once I gave a tiny speech about Chris Hardy, and like I could do one line from it.
Okay.
So, I'm flipping.
Like what?
It's his. Okay.
You're talking about Chris Harding, Christopher Harding?
No, Chris Hardy. Chris Hardy.
Not Harding?
He means Chris Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh.
May I interrupt? Is this relatively... So grab it. We're going to watch a really beautiful film called Inhabit, a Permaculture Perspective.
Let us stand.
Thank you.
As grandchildren of the dearly beloved, the Creator of all, we honor the Creator by standing and raising your hearts and your minds to the beloved. Oh, Grandfather, Creator of all, Creator of the great mystery, God. We, your grandchildren, stand here before you, Grandfather. We love you. Without you, we're nothing. Grandfather, we thank you for touching the hearts of your children here this morning. If there's anyone here that needs a healing breath from you, Grandfather, you could take care of that. Bless all of us, Grandfather, and take care of our homes while we are away and our families that are not here. And Grandfather, make good medicine for each and every one of your grandchildren here today. Bless their hearts. Lift them up, Grandfather. Strengthen them. Encourage us too, Grandfather. Teach us how to get along, how to have kindness in our hearts, and peace and love and compassion, Grandfather, for all beings. And be the voice for the voiceless, those, the animal kingdom, the waters, the trees, the green of our Mother Earth. All of that, we are the voice. And help us, Grandfather, to take care of this earth that you gave to us, so that we can make it good and have good water and good air for all of the generations that are coming behind us, Grandfather, so that it'll all be good for them. And Grandfather, we thank you today for the words that we could hear from everyone. Make it good for us, Grandfather. Manifest yourself to each and every one, even to our little people. And Grandfather, you said it was not the adults that owned the world, it was the children. So help us to take better care of it, Grandfather, wherever we live, to have this gratitude in our hearts for the life that you have given us, the gratitude for just for being, to take up this little spot on the Earth Mother's face. And we bless her too, our Mother Earth, as we stand upon her today. She's taken care of us all these many years with everything on our back, everything that goes through our mouth to our tummy. And Grandfather, she has done a wonderful job. Help us with our two hands to make it good for every day for taking care of her as she has taken care of us. And Grandfather, give us that responsibility with love in our heart to be able to do that. So thank you, Grandfather, for hearing our humble prayer this morning from your children here on this planet. And we thank you for everybody that's helped us at the Eco Summit, and all of those on that committee that are bringing us together here today. And we thank you, Grandfather, for all of the willing hands and the minds that you have given us for them to be here to join us and make a better world for our children's children's children. And we thank you, Grandfather. Amen. 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 Oh, Grandfather, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. God bless you.
Oh, katakate, leokik te tuiva kerokik te kanchichila televikta. Wanamela kiane, chosen in okiwake. Ilia kikta ne terakik, Hania Mastakokan. Ilia ne chukta, Ilia Waloa, we choke a kuklai usik, which are like in many which are lefty Ilioka kikta, and it chair. Wagilio kikta, in Iliaki, and many work of each Iataka. Doka sete Iliaka, in Terracation. To weave a cave, the Atharaka shrieked in Italia. The chosen in Okiwaki, Ilia. We hope Yagaki or Kanawakana. Wakiano yet to ride there, Magaju, Iliaka Gichana, many which only were there. When I was here, I turned of Kapia to Draka, Kili, Ilia, Skashaluto, Sitesa Block, Yaka, Kroaki, Tinita, religion, we hear the we all hear Pokilurki and Makajan. Feel unbelievable congratulation. Now look at Nakunakai in the attention. Chanupu, Kalita, Ina. And I can't look at our kind in the other. A hoot of them and a hoot of to show it here in the other.
We'll introduce Patricia Ann Davis, who has come to help us with her lineage's ceremonial change process. She has a few words for us before we begin the film. So thank you again to Grandmother Agnes. It was so beautiful. Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
All my relatives, not Shikna. Good morning and welcome. I arrived from the Southwest, and I am Choctaw and Navajo. I will be a presenter to Saturday and Sunday to teach about the Indigenous ceremonial change process. At this time, I want you to know that I'm here to stand with you, to pray with you, to encourage you, to appreciate you, to love you, to know that all the intention and the thinking and the planning for this, it's a mega change process because the macro and the micro reflect. And the intervention or the leverage point is to reframe out of win-lose, because nobody wins in win-lose, and destructive and death choice, to reframe into win-win and constructive and life-affirming choice, right? Yes? Yes, let's make sure, ensure, guarantee that the next generation of youth do understand fully that life is simple. It's yes and no, and what we say yes and no to. And so my basic message throughout the places on this planet that I have traveled is about the four sacred elements, the earth, water, fire, and air. And that's our constitution, and we're in it in the environment. So there's no way we can be separate or outside of it, right? And so
GMOs, they have to be stopped before Monsanto's company, and they. Okay, so before Monsanto's company spreads to every store in United States of America and other countries. And we need to stop that from happening. So that's why we need all of you people to join up and put our voices together to help stop GMOs that are genetically modified organisms from spreading all over the world. And also, I think that GMOs are really, this is a true fact, but GMOs aren't natural. GMOs aren't natural. Nature is natural. That's why we are here on this planet, to stop GMOs, and why we are all grouped together right here, and also to help the world stop climate change and stop global warming all in one big foul swoop, and do it all in a fast way to help the world. GMOs, they have to be stopped before Monsanto's company, and they. Okay, so before Monsanto's company spreads to every store in United States of America and other countries. And we need to stop that from happening. So that's why we need all of you people to join up and put our voices together to help stop GMOs that are genetically modified organisms from spreading all over the world. And also, I think that GMOs are really, this is a true fact, but GMOs aren't natural. GMOs aren't natural. Nature is natural. That's why we are here on this planet, to stop GMOs, and why we are all grouped together right here, and also to help the world stop climate change and stop global warming all in one big foul swoop, and do it all in a fast way to help the world. I was going to say that, like, practically what that show just said was really good information about gardening. So if you want a rainforest garden like that, you have to start planning like that. How it's said to do it on that show, and how you can help you gardening without making it pollute the world and pollute our water and pollute the air and pollute the earth and pollute everything around us, pollute our bodies, pollute our blood. Don't let it do that.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that, like, practically what that show just said was really good information about gardening. So if you want a rainforest garden like that, you have to start planning like that. How it's said to do it on that show, and how you can help you gardening without making it pollute the world and pollute our water and pollute the air and pollute the earth and pollute everything around us, pollute our bodies, pollute our blood. Don't let it do that.
Yeah.
So, and also by using a big water tank that can hold that much water, exactly like it showed on the show. Exactly how we can do it without any exhaust, any stuff that can make the environment sick. Anything that can make it the environment bad. You have to start show, and also by using a big water tank that can hold that much water, exactly like it showed on the show. Exactly how we can do it without any exhaust, any stuff that can make the environment sick. Anything that can make it the environment bad. You have to start. It's a way of recycling seeds. Also, you can use a water filter to help your water, like for instance a Berkey or something. Berkey water filter. It filters out any kind of metal that could be in it, or any bad minerals. You have to save the earth. By starters, you can help out people that are trying to help here by being a volunteer or something. You can also help here by recycling, reusing. You putting it in the recycling bin, and then you have practically a bottle for those bolts. If you have some bolts that are just loose on the ground, you can just reuse things before you just all throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
You for me, and all that other stuff.
Yay!
Here. The three elements that are really important to you: earth, water, air. You need those things to survive. You don't need anything else. You just need those same exact simple things. You need vitamins that in the food that you eat. You need tons of good stuff that you get from plants. You get tons of nutrients from everything you eat. Nuts, berries, fruit, anything that you can eat is nutritious. Doesn't have to be delicious.
Doesn't have to be what?
Doesn't have to be delicious to be nutritious. and you never have to. You always can try new medicines that are in new foods. You always can get more healthy. You always can learn new things. Here. The three elements that are really important to you: earth, water, air. You need those things to survive. You don't need anything else. You just need those same exact simple things. You need vitamins that in the food that you eat. You need tons of good stuff that you get from plants. You get tons of nutrients from everything you eat. Nuts, berries, fruit, anything that you can eat is nutritious. Doesn't have to be delicious.
Doesn't have to be what?
Doesn't have to be delicious to be nutritious. and you never have to. You always can try new medicines that are in new foods. You always can get more healthy. You always can learn new things.
Together here this weekend to engage in a dialogue about a plan, which is one part of creating a whole systems map, is to engage our whole systems intelligence and have a more accurate map. The other side of it is autonomy and innovation. And so one of the things I've seen, I've traveled all over the world and worked in whole systems processes from United Nations, global level on down. And what I see happen a lot of times in this particular kind of dialogue that's about planning is we get mired in the plan and forget that the plan is not the map. You know, the map is not the territory. And so I really want to bow to the creative agency in the room. And as we start working through this weekend, I want to really greenlight the kind of collaborations that might happen on the margins and in the edges and in the conversations and the willingness to move forward regardless of whether everyone's with you. Because the way biology works, the way evolution functions, is it functions because each individuated intelligence is doing its best to thrive and survive and harmonize. But harmonizing doesn't mean we all need to agree. It means that we all need to get to give our gifts and work with the people who have unique affinity with us specifically. So I want to say that in advance because I really see especially in the Rogue River Valley and in the Ashland activist context, that so much work is taken to engage people as stakeholders in a process where we all agree, and I think it wastes a lot of energy. It's exhausting and nightmarish, and it has people who are really talented with this view in mind. And I think through the combination of those levels of sometimes coordination and possibly sometimes dissonance, we will get farther faster. Thank you.
So what is your name?
Well, my name is Forrest Berg.
And what do you bring to this? What is your passion?
I work for a company called greenearthcity.org, and we're dedicated to bringing about transformation, resilient community development, both urban and rural, and that is definitely my passion, or one of them.
And how do you see the resolution taking place?
You know, so I've been sitting there meditating on this for the last few minutes, and I believe that it really starts from within, and that is a relationship, if you will, between ourselves and each other and this planet that we are blessed to live on. I think that is the first step, is understanding that we do have a relationship with this planet and each other, and defining that relationship in a positive light, one in which we really we take a look at our value systems, you know. I believe that once we come to some sort of harmonic balancing with our relationships with each other and this planet, for example, in my mind, that resolving a movement towards an evolution, if you will, would be acknowledging that that we are part of this planet versus apart from this planet. And that we, since we're integrated with this planet and everything that lives here, then we don't elevate ourselves up to an above mentality where we're apart and higher than and better than, or maybe going somewhere after we pass, or whatever it is. Our physical beings that are here on this planet are here now in a relationship where we share the same air, we share the same water, we are in a dynamic relationship with all the life forms on this planet, micro and macro, and that understanding will help pave the way in everything else we do in our lives. So for example, if we decide that we live on this beautiful island of Earth, this speck in the universe, this magnificent, utterly amazing place, and that we're so blessed to be here, and we acknowledge it like that, then we look at how our manufacturing processes are. Maybe we embrace a no harm mentality and a premise. Maybe we look at the way we interact on a resource level. So we start thinking in terms of how we can best, instead of exploiting resources and the planet, how we can coexist. And so then that affects all of our manufacturing processes. And I'd really also like to say that pertains not just to, for example, manufacturing processes, but just that or that relationship that we have will also pertain to politics, to you know, the energy.
And is it possible that we repeat?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what is your name?
Fernanda Ibarra.
And what is your work? What is your passion? How do you express your passion in life?
My passion in life is to be able to will, and I'll explain that. Will with a W-E-A-L. So what it means is we have the verb healing when we talk about health. So we know it's so important to have health in the physical level, the mental level, the spiritual level, and that creates us, empowers us as integrated human beings in life, in earth. And the word willing, the verb willing, does exist in the dictionary, but somewhere we missed it and we lost it. And willing is the verb for wealth. So my work is to will. Healing is in the individual level. Willing is in the collective level. Wealth, well-being, willing. There's no well-being without a collective somewhere. If you are an incredible human being with super capacities, that you're not connected to the whole somewhere, even if it's, you know, of course, nature, your community, your tribe, your kin, you don't have well-being. So my work is about that level of relationship and how to cultivate, to create the infrastructure and the systems and the processes, the protocols for us to dance in those collective protocols together that would enable for our collective well-being. So my prayer is that the Echo Summit could be a platform or a Kickstarter. No, I'm gonna start again because I think it's already started. I cannot claim it's gonna start anywhere. My aspiration is that we create that well-being in Ashland, and so it becomes part of those. It's a laboratory. You know, it has the right size. It's not yet a city. It's a village. It has incredible people that work for social good, but we haven't had the capacity so far to see the whole, so that we can connect in a more powerful way, create that connective tissue around among projects or those protocols that will enable us to share resources and to really literally build the commons together. The commons not only as resources, natural resources or infrastructure that we create together for a common purpose or a common good or well-being, but the social agreements that will help us to bring a higher order of collective intelligence forward, where we can co-create what we require, both in systems as well as in culture, to wheel together, to satisfy and thrive, or satisfy our needs and thrive as a beautiful little town with a lot of potential. Thank you. Well, one of the things that can happen is the mapping process that is going to take place here. If people contribute to it, then the organism can see itself. We're building super organisms or social organisms because we know that if we follow the principles of living systems, then we're not creating machines or organizations, we're creating living systems with flows of relationships, but we're not able to see those flows of relationships. So if we don't see them, we cannot enable the flows that we want, and we cannot shape them in the way we want. So if we are able to map and see and make visible to the whole, to the parts, what the whole is, we could start creating those connections. And that connectivity tissue for me is things like common agreements, in the ground level. It's about agreements. It's sitting together and saying, okay, what are the flows of value we want to see? Do we want to see coherence? Do we want to see participation? Do we want to see what kind of contributions of what sort? Do we want to see trust? How do we measure trust in a system so that we know that trust is the fertile ground from where everything else can emerge? If you don't have trust, you don't have nothing.
Adult organisms that consent. And so, in many ways, babies can't consent, but children can. And everyone understands things differently, so discussion can often be very important to let us understand how we're going forward with consent. So right now, do you all consent to this open space as it is right now? And would anyone like to consent to speak about whatever they feel they're passionate?
I didn't want to actually talk about consent. It was great. Yeah, I'm excited for these new formats. I worked, really solo for a long time, so I have a lot of ideas that are within a certain context within my own framework. And so I realized as we're interpollinating ideas and we're sharing even proprietary technologies, at some point it might be useful, because I even noticed it myself. Like I learned something yesterday that totally blew my mind. And I was like, it came from somebody else, and it's a model they're using. So I'm noticing in myself a desire to be cautious in the flow of ideas and just get the enthusiasm of discovering something and then really making sure that it's okay that that idea be integrated in a certain way. And especially while we're discussing an ideal, there also is the current reality of certain ideas and how ideas are handled within this economy. So I love being in the conversation of how we can interpolate and make these ideas come to fruition. So this is more of a question. And so how can we all feel safe bringing to the table the wisdom that we have inside and also the desire to secure making a living, as we need to right now. So that's a question I'm putting out there, is how can we secure each other's consent, not just in presence, but in ideation as well.
To become more on the same page about space, about consent, and about engagement. I've discussed everything I want to, so first.
I have an experience on that. And what it is that many times where two or more are gathered, you will find that there is already consensus, that there's a like mind within this group, and that mind is going to speak itself. And you'll find consensus within each group here that I believe that's why we're here, is to find out what that like mind is and what those principles that we can bring forward and take action with, that we empower each other to do that. And I believe that's the whole purpose of this gathering.
I just want to honor, as Grandma Aggie is the voice for the voiceless, that there are that one mind that Asha was talking about that's present here with us, that motivates and moves us all. There are individuals that may not be present, that have concerns that we can all hold in our hearts as important pieces of what we're choosing to talk about and recommend, if we're making recommendations for policies and laws or programs, whatever it is that comes out of this is not just what's in our own individual minds. It's that one mind that moves us all, and we just have to all be conscious of that oneness within ourselves and not in any moment speak from our individuality.
I have no idea what I'm going to say, but I'm listening to engagement and consent. And it reminds me of, as I was growing up, I didn't know who I was, and so I would base my reality on other people's opinions and advice, if you will, and I was born that day that as well. And I see the shift in the, just in this space, I declare that the consent is walking in the door, and the engagement is not about, being right or, whose idea is better than the other. It's about finding the common from our own hearts, from our own truth and our wisdom, finding that like mind.
Good morning. I really find this very exciting because I'm an organizer and I've been working with Youth for Men, and my big concern is that the corporate world is taking over everything and we as individuals have less to say about what happens in our own lives. And it's people like around this room, I think, that give me heart. There's a synergy here that allows for us to build a kind of community that's really necessary for mental health and physical health, just to be who we're designed to be. And I think now that we're kind of a post-industrial age here, they think they are in it. There are many people in the corporate world that are still trying to make an awful lot of money. But we know better than that. And we know that our peace of mind, and speaking for myself, I know that I have a place in the society, and I want to work with others to build that kind of common community where we rely on each other. And Rogue Valley, I think, is a perfect place for that kind of thing to happen.
Everybody, my name is Samantha, and I would just love to hear other people's names when they stand up too, because I don't know you all, and that's part of why I'm here. I just want to say, kind of reiterate something I said yesterday. I also want to bow to the differences in the room. I think unity that is strong comes out of diversity. And I would guess that there's a significant diversity of experiences, perspectives, expertise, and passions in the room. And I think what will make our movement strong is if we give ourselves permission to have different viewpoints and passions. I'm a student of a process called innate strategies that was created by a man named Scott Spann, who's successfully facilitated some of the largest multi-stakeholder green energy transition processes and Ecuador-wide processes around sustainable development. Anyway, the principle there is that we have to also have space for each other's disagreement in order to create powerful agreements. And I know Patricia's here to also facilitate a ceremonial change process that I believe is in support of the unity and diversity, the unifying principle. So I love everything that's been said about unity, and I also want to name diversity and how important it is that each of us sees the totality from a different perspective, different experience, different expertise, and to welcome that into the room where we can be strong together in that diversity.